Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to those of you here in the United States. Good evening to folks in Liberia, and good morning to folks in some part of the world. This is the hour of politics. Of course, Ansony Sieh, as always, focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. I am saying to you today, is your day to be part of the conversation. I want you to get ready to, get your calls coming in to participate. We are having a kind of open mic today. We want to hear from you, and I can only hope that you will be gracious enough to join the conversation. So yes, open mic, get ready to participate. I want to know what's on your mind. If you want to know what is on my mind, I see something I am looking at, and I'm calling it "You Do Me, I Do You" politics, and the case of the CPP. So, folks, before we get into it, if you have not shared yet, please do so. And we're going to be here for an hour to have the conversation. And so, welcome and thank you for joining us here at Focus on Liberia. So, you do me, I do you politics. The case of the CPP is what I see, and that is what that is on my mind. I don't know what is on your mind, and I really want you to tell me what is on your mind. So I will get started. Why you get fired up to start placing your calls. So why do I call you do me, I do you politics? And how come I have come up with this? I think we are at a point where the opposition CPP, as we have known it to be, is as each other's throat to the point that they are now bent on destroying each other. So we all, many of us are aware that there was a collaboration that was put together, that got certificated, that celebrated their certification, participated in by-elections, won some of those elections, most of those elections, by the way. And but one other thing they had, we was more like their primary goal was to fill a single ticket. And so when that time was getting closer, it became clearer to them that it was a competition. It was not a kind of kumbaya or kind of arrangement. And so we, in no time, also got to know that Mr. Joseph Yimambwaka and Mr. Alexander Belande Cummings were the two individuals that have had interest in becoming the standard bearer for now in battle CPP, right? And so, folks, fast forward, they could not agree to what they had called consensus, meaning saying they had two persons will go in a room and decide who to be the presidential candidate and the vice presidential candidate. The two men were clear as to the fact that they each wanted to be a presidential candidate for the CPP. So the obvious option became the primaries, and there were fear that each side had their own fear, to put it that way. The Unity Party that wanted to be or has been wanting to be the CPP, you know, candidate, talking about Mr. Bwaka, they were not sure that going to the primary, they will have an easier victory, that in the primary they will be able to defeat Alexander Bennett Cummings. And I think it was reasonable fear, right? Because Cummings has, been penetrating some other parties and using money, which is a leverage that he has, and then using this, financial means, and bulldozing and penetrating other political parties within the CPP. And so, and we all know in primaries, people spend a lot of money. There are delegates, and delegates have to be approached by the candidates. And the fear that comes with his financial strength will be able to convince more delegates to vote for him. And so the United Party felt that no, they could not take that risk, because doing so would have meant that Mr. Bwaka would not be the CPP candidate. And in their belief, Mr. Bwaka represents, a better option for the CPP candidacy. And I actually agree with them that if Mr. Bwaka can become the head of the ticket, it will be better for the CPP. And I strongly believe that. And there are so many reasons: name recognition, and compared to Cummings, he had name recognition. Previous election, Mr. Bwaka got 400,000 votes, where Cummings got 112,000. And if you look at also the fact that the Unity Party has gone to the second round in every election since 2005, 2011, 2017. And even when the Unity Party got so unpopular in 2017, it still went there. So, the Unity Party with Bwaka, if anybody will make it to the second round, it got to be the Unity Party. No question about it. And the CDs, the ANC, has the slimmest chance ever to make it to the second round. So looking at those variables, the Unity Party was very clear. No, we can't do that. And, so fast forward, folks, not to waste your time here, it became now like, wait a minute. Are we not going to have primaries? Of course. And then they start talking about, well, the only way we can go to the primaries is to do black voting. So that was Unity Party that wanted to count the vote before time. That way they could be sure that going to the primary, victory was sure. That argument got defeated. And so at the end of the day, when they realized that Cummings could not budge, he will not accept a vice presidential slot. He will not succumb to say, well, I just want to be VP. And when they got frustrated, they said, well, saying he does not want to be VP, we don't even want him. We have a history of going to the second round. We'll go to the second round. Joshua is so bad that anybody goes against Joshua, that person is going to win. And so there where all hell broke loose. So, but then they don't want to abandon the CPP because the CPP became a brand. So if we abandon this brand, and it might be a little more of a political manus. So they wanted to stay in the CPP, and then go away, Mr. Bwaka, and they wanted to see whether there could be a way to get Cummings out. If you remember, at some point, well, let Cummings leave. Let him leave. Let him leave. The Cummings people said, no, we're not going to leave. So when the Cummings people could not leave, then it flipped on the other side. Then United Party said, well, then, some of their surrogates started saying, but then we're going to leave. We're going to leave. We're going to leave. Boom, they left. So they left. But then they were not happy that they had to leave. They felt that they had to leave because the other side, the ANC, was so intransigent. And so they wanted to make sure that they pay a price for not trying to succumb. And then the issue of framework alteration, all that thing came to the fore. So now that brings us to actually what is on my mind. I'm sorry, I always like to, bring the little history of what we talk about. And so now the whole court case has been going on. The court case here been hampering Cummings' chances. The court case is having a serious dent on Cummings. It is diminishing his political chances. Now, based on my observation, Cummings did not have that much chances anyway. His chances were not as better as Joseph Boakar's chances. His chances has not been as better as Boakar's chances. His chances had never been better as President Weah's chances. Now, if you add on top of that mountain that he had to claim and he should be claiming, right, to a court case, it's like this guy has taken the first step to climb this mountain. And then a court case came hammering him down. And to the point that he has fallen flat to the ground. Don't listen to all that explanation. We have structures in the county. Cummings has been the one to have visited all the counties. Cummings is not gaining traction. It is a fact. Do not believe anything they tell you. The issue of financial strength, they not call it for Vanning, they not call it for Robert Sirleaf, they not call it for Thomas Fowler, they not call it for so many other people who have financial strength. So it cannot call it for Cummings. The narrative that you just come in, we don't know you, it is also a fact. It is obvious that when you talk to most people on the ground, people in Liberia, we talk to them. There are two persons who the Liberian people in their majority are looking at in making their decision. The Cummings, the Boakar. It is a fact that no one cannot dismiss. The folks in the ANC do not want to hear it, but I will continue to hammer it because that is the truth. That said, in politics, the variables are now stagnant. The variables can move. Now, how they move the variables in their favor is something that they have to do. Whether they have sufficient time, that is another discussion for another day. Now, of all of these challenges they have had, if you add the court case there, it's more like their little chance they had is disappearing. So now they have gotten to know that this court case is nailing them in the coffin politically. This court case has damaged the name Alexander Bellente Cummings. That is the ANC brand. The ANC has no other brand other than the name Alice Cummings. That is what they have. The name ANC as a political party, it is not as recognizable in the Liberian body politics when it comes to presidential election. They have members, they have people all over the place, but yet, if we're looking at the numbers, the strength, the ANC is at a disadvantage. So the ANC that was betting on the name Alice Cummings, his record, his story as an accomplished Liberian corporate executive, a Liberian citizen who came to America, gained so much success, and now has gone home and trying to replicate that success in political leadership. That is what they have. And this is this brand. This is their strength. This is their souls. This is their trump card that is being destroyed in the court of law. If you destroy that name, the ANC is done politically, at least for this upcoming election. So the ANC having recognized this particular potential, they are saying we are going to fight back. If you remember, Mr. Cummings said in his recent interview that this allegation, this slander of my name, that I have false signatures, that I have altered document, This will not go unpunished. There will be consequences. Realities is gradually setting in. The ANC is feeling the pinch, feeling the brunt of this court case. They know that the potential of this court case can very well make Mr. Cummings' dream to not become a reality. And to use the big Liberian word, he's on a trajectory to nowhere in this upcoming presidential election. This court case is serious. What can happen is that the CDC that does not want any of these forerunners is doing everything to minimize their chances. They're going to drag this kid in court. Mr. Cummings is there now. He has been there for a little over 3 months. They're going to drag it and drag it. And why would the CDC cut them loose? Why would the CDC cut Alice Cummings loose? Why would they want to do that? When they know that this court case can exhaust him, can diminish his name standing, why would they want to do that? They will not do that easily. So they have their plan is to drag their court case, even if possible, up to election time, or if possible, to form Mr. Cummings guilty. Now, how are they doing it? They are bringing in about 17 witnesses. Just one witness. The first witness took almost, 3 weeks, and they didn't even exhaust that witness. Now, Mr. Bwaka now has been brought, and the CDC too is also bringing Bwaka, all right, into this case. Now he's a criminal witness. He should have testified just yesterday. What happened? Well, Mr. Bwaka said that he cannot testify on what they call a photocopy of the CPP framework document, that he cannot testify on a photocopy. So they now said, well, then we will go for the original copy at the National Election Commission. Now, what I found so ironic here is that the Unity Party from day one has been saying that Mr. Cummings filed a photocopy of the CPP document with NEC. So what kind of original are they talking about? Out of a sudden, do we have an original with NEC now? But that is what they are saying. So they have taken a copy of the document to the court for Mr. Bwaka to testify. It's the same document. It's the same text. The writing index is the same. The signatures are the same. So if I take this piece of document, the piece of paper, and I make a photocopy of it, is it not the same? So, but that is their argument, that no, we cannot, Mr. Bwaka cannot testify on a photocopy. Okay, let's give that to them. So the agreement now, okay, we'll go for the original and we will put this testimony on hold temporarily, all right, until we can get the original document. We'll go for it at NEC. Now, the other accusation the Unity Party have said is that particular document at NEC, according to them, has been altered. That's why Mr. Cummings is in court. So this is the Unity Party is saying, we want the author framework document. The document we said has been forged and altered at NEC. We want it, and Mr. Bwaka will testify. So I'm saying this to say that these people, all they're doing is just destroying themselves. They are just minimizing their chances and increasing President Weah's chances. You said photocopy at NEC, but it is the photocopy down you want. You said the document at NEC was forged. You said it was altered, but it is the very forged and altered document now you are calling original, and that is the one that you want to testify on. You see the confusion? That's what happens when people are in a fight, for themselves and not for a nation. They are just fighting, so they're not thinking. They have forgotten all they've said in the past, and they are fighting. So they do me, you do me, I do you politics now. So the ANC, seeing that their case is affecting them, now they file a complaint with the National Election Commission using this allegedly forged document, a clause in it to hold the Unity Party to not be a candidate. And they have succeeded. Just as the Bwaka side has succeeded in getting Cummings to court, and he's been embarrassed and disgraced and feeling the pinch of it. Now, the Cummings side of the CPP, they are at neck, and the succeeded Unity Party, as we speak, does not have a candidate. Mr. Bwaka announcements the right. He said, what? If they can hold a Unity Party ticket, candidate, all right, from now contesting in an upcoming by-election, this thing can also hold me in the upcoming election. So Mr. Bwaka started talking tough. So Mr. Bwaka going to court is actually going for the kill. He's not going for the rescue. His testimony would be, yes, Cummings authored the document. Whereas the Cummings side of the CPP, they're not stopping there. Now they have succeeded holding the Unity Party's candidate. So it's like, if Unity Party, if we, the CPP, or if we, the ANC, cannot get it, Unity Party cannot get it. Unity Party will, as yet, does not have a candidate. Now, they say they're going to exhaust all other means legally. If it means they go to the Supreme Court, they will so do. And that is what they are doing. The matter will very well go to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to decide whether or not the Unity Party should be a candidate. And the by-election, from according to the schedule, is May 10th. I don't know whether it will go on. Today, the 3rd, we have just 7 days to the election. What time do they have? So the ANC and the Commissar, they are calculated. Their decision is they will apply or use that same clause in the CPP framework document to hold Mr. Bwaka not to time to run in the upcoming general and presidential election. If they do that, what happens? It plays in CDC favor again, just as this cocaine is playing in the CDC favor. The Cummings guy with the big money who's supposed to be going from place to place convincing people, now he's been pulled back by a court. So CDC is perfectly waiting for the time when the Commissar will file a petition to stop Mr. Bwaka from contesting on grounds of the CPP framework document. So this is the Bwaka side of the CPP saying, we will use the court case to embarrass Cummings and even minimize the chances. What are the Cummings side saying? Okay, we will use the same framework document, and the portion that say, if you leave, you cannot be a candidate, we will use it to stop Bwaka. They are self-destructing. This is the politics of you do me, I do you politics, folks. It is not pretty. And all the both sides are doing, they are just cooking. They are cooking the cake for Joshua. And Joshua's job is simple. He set his table at the court. He said, bring the cake and put it right here. Now, instead of him taking about a day to eat that cake, Joshua can take the whole year. When he comes, he will take a little piece. You see your leaders? Those are the people you're running behind. Have we seen this before? Never in our history. Have potential opposition or parties been stopped from running election? I was talking to my man, Daniel Jai. He said it happened. I believe he said around the 1985 election, something like that. They banned 2 other parties. Those stopped some other parties from contesting. I think it was the Liberian Action Party that was allowed to contest against President Doe. The rest of the parties were stopped. They were banned from. Now, a ban is different. This time, the difference is that the court is being used to stop these other people from contesting. That is the intention here. Even if they would not succeed to stop each other, or even if the CDC will not succeed in stopping them, the CDC can well delay them up to election time and just allow them, maybe cut them loose. And maybe the CDC can even delay until the time for registration, everything passed, and then just allow them to go. And it will be too late. So the point I was making, according to Dennis, those other parties were stopped. The Liberian Action Party was the only party that went into the election. What happened was the rest of the parties, because they were being stopped, they was being banned from contesting in that general and presidential election, they all supported the Liberian Action Party. What happened? The Liberian Action Party won that election, but Doe went and thwarted the result and rigged the election. That is what contributed to the war that we experienced. So this brings me to the other point. This behavior that is going on, it has a potential to bring serious conflict in the country. We should not forget history. Also, we must understand that parties were banned in the past. These parties, the ANC and the Unity Party, who have started doing these things to themselves and then offer aid to President Weah or the CDC. The CDC accepted it, and the CDC is using it. This has a propensity to stop these two individuals from not contesting in the election, and President Weah will love it. Now, if I'm suspecting it might be unlikely, but it is not impossible. After all, we saw of recent the issue of what's his name, Brandon Samuka. He won his seat, right? But he could not take his seat. He has given up on his own seat. So the Unity Party should be afraid here, except some kind of intervention, except the CDC, wants to not know the lesson of history and maybe cut them loose at the very end. All right. But should that happen, does it give an opening? Is there a little opportunity here with what is being played out here? And that opportunity is that tier one. If these people, as we know it to be, are being hampered by this court case, and the one that is coming, it is coming, they will sue to stop the Unity Party on grounds that when you leave the CPP, you cannot feed a candidate. It will come. And so this would be the Cummings side or Team Cummings doing everything legalistically to stop the Unity Party or Mr. Bouaka from running, whereas Team Bouaka through Benin Ure and indirectly through the CDC government stopping Team Cummings or Edisana Benedict Cummings from possibly not contesting in the election. These things will play out. As these things are happening, if there's only a serious candidate or somebody with a serious, presidential, somebody with serious, credentials to be a presidential candidate, that would be Councillor Tiawon Gonglo. Can Tiawon Gonglo become the Liberian Action Party candidate who went against Doe because the other parties were banned? Tiawon Gonglo do that? Tiawon Gonglo? So if the folks in Tiawon Gonglo, on Tiawon Gonglo side, if they are listening, this is an opportunity. Politics is about opportunity. You see an opportunity, you jump on it, you capitalize on it, you run as fast as you can to increase your chances. If only the Liberian people can see a viable alternative, they can turn their back on the CDC. But if they don't, they might well stick with the CDC. So this is what that is playing out right now. That is what I have on my mind. The phone lines are open. I am very, very limited when it comes to these things, this politics thing. I only have chosen to be part of it. That's what I try to think about it, read about it, follow the players, and try to make sense based on my own understanding. There are many of you following who have much better understanding or even your own understanding of it or take of it. I would love for you to participate. Today is not one of those days I will come to do an in-depth analysis on a chosen topic. Today is open mic. It's for you to say what's on your mind. But I will be more than glad if you can talk about it and give your own take, because this is the ongoing political, issue that is unfolding in the country right now. This is what everybody talking about in Liberia when it comes to our nation's politics, talking about election 2023. So, folks, that is what I have on my mind. You do me, I do politics, the case of the CPP, and this is an open mic. And so, folks, the time is now yours. I wanted to take just about 30 minutes to give my take and what I have on my mind, and I will be well pleased if you can well do your part by calling in and talking. So, folks, the number to call here always in the strolling text below. And in the write-up, you will see it there. If you look on Facebook, you will see the number there, 605-313-6004. Enter the code 791-403#. If you look on Facebook, it's right there. I want you to call. I don't want to say more than what I have said, but let me display that card number for you. It's always in the strolling text below. This is the number. Again, I will read it, 605-313-6004. And the code is 791-403# to join the conversation. So, folks, you do me, I do you politics. And I'm waiting for your call. So while I wait for your call, I will take a short break, hoping that upon my return, there will be callers. If there will be no callers, I will go into comments. I really don't want to read comments today. I want to hear you speak your mind. All right. So folks don't want to call again. All right. No issue here. So let me bring, while I still wait for calls, let me add to what I had to say. To further bring to your understanding how the CDC calculation is clear. The CDC has been given the greatest political meat. It's like they have given the CDC a very big hammer, and the CDC has it in its hand, and it was given to the CDC by the CDC own opponents. So the court case, guess what they are doing, through the Solicitor General, to just hammer these guys and drag them in court to exhaust them and deplete their energy, so that they can be vulnerable for defeat. Let's talk about the number of witnesses. Can you believe this? So during Tuesday's hearing, right, the court expanded the rate of subpoena to 17 witnesses. And here's the thing, folks, just one witness can take about 2-3 weeks. It depends on what the prosecuting team, the prosecution team want to do. Whatever they want to do, like especially with Solicitor General, who is prosecuting the case in court, he has decided that he will bring in 17 witnesses. And he can well decide to include other witnesses, but for now, he said there will be 17 witnesses. And the 17 witnesses that he bring in, we have their names and the reasons he's bringing them, the things that he wants them to testify to. If you listen to what I'm about to share with you, you will know that this is a calculated delay tactics that will play in the CDC's benefit. So he's going to serve, 17 other witnesses a subpoena, and he has done with Mr. Walker already. The Unity Party leader, he has, and what is Mr. Walker is to testify on? He is to testify on his role, his responsibilities, and his activities, if any, in the CPP. That is how he played that role, when he played that role, why he played that role. And he will also have to give, the information, regarding the formation of the CDC, if any. Mr. Walker is to tell that story. And he will also have to narrate the ceremony leading to the signing of the CPP framework document, the role that he played, talking about the framework document that was signed on May 19. Mr. Walker has to talk about all that. And if you look at that laundry list there, I don't think Mr. Walker can do all that in one day. That should tell you, and that is just one witness. That's just one criminal witness right there. That should tell you how long this thing is going to take, and it will well lead into election time. Now, another person is Ansony, who is the former chairman of the Unity Party. And then also Mo Ali, who is the Secretary General. Now, Amin Moda, he is the current chairman of the Unity Party. All these people have to explain their role, how their responsibility, their activities, when, how, and where they have to go and testify, to those activities. Can you imagine that? Then also, they're bringing in people from the opposition Liberty Party. The embattled Liberty Party force is going to come. They want the political leader, Nyambli Kanka Lawrence. And you all know Nyambli Kanka Lawrence is on the side of Mr. Joseph Yimam Walker. So Nyambli will have to go and testify. They will be asking her to produce the original copy of the press statement that she issued, that in which she found common libel of criminal wrongdoing and the alteration of the CPP framework document. And she also have to talk about the controversy regarding the alteration of the CPP framework document. She needs to tell, or she will be asked to testify and tell the court what she knows about the alteration of the CPP framework document. And they will also ask her for original copy. So you see the game they're playing? Nyambli have to tell which one is the original copy. Is that the one at NEC? Is that a photocopy? If not, what is the original, or where is the original document? She have to tell when, why, and how, her roles, their activities, and all the event leading to the signing ceremony of the CPP. Can you imagine that, folks? I don't want to go through the list. They have to bring in Steve Zago, who is the former chairman of the Liberty Party, even though they are saying he's chairman now. They have to bring one Augustine Federer, who is an executive member. He will identify and he will testify to testimony that was given at NEC. Look, folks, they will bring in Jeremy Rosas, who is a senator. They will bring in Darius Dillon. They will bring in Wede Powell. And these are all executive members of the opposition Liberty Party. Now, on the coming side, they will bring in Benade. They bring in Benade Sanon. They ask him, Mr. Cummings, to come and testify against himself. All right. They want him to confess whether or not he forged the document. All right. They want him to identify and testify using material evidence. Can you imagine? This is the plan. By the time they are done with all this, folks, you will get to know that they will be way, 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 way into election time next year. So, folks, I just wanted to add that there, to juice this thing up for you to know. I will now go to the phone lines to see if we have any questions. If we have any questions, we will be happy to answer them. if we have some colors here. All right, I see that we have a color here. See that we have a color, and I told you I want to hear from you. Let's see if this color is ready.
All participants are off hold.
All right. I see here color phone number ending in 9537. If you can hear me, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Chris, and I'm calling from Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah, it's interesting about the topic that is going on. But
Mhm.
when I hear you, you said the present government is trying to delay the case. That's where my little that's coming from. Um, I think these people were not serious when they come together. They tie themselves in the less and they want to shift the blame, on the present government, whatever it is.
Mhm.
They tie themselves because whatever they did to themselves, they thought it was going to affect one person. And that's why I said, if possible, there will be no opposition against President we are coming 2017 because it will be a free cup to win because they don't get it. They don't get it, the whole concept.
Mhm.
When you took Arizona coming to court, they thought it was going to be just, just a simple thing. Like somebody was there going to be like, oh yeah, they're going to put and stuff and things. No, they're going to adapt everybody,
Mhm.
everybody across the board. That's
Right.
what we're going to do. These people paying the government, they should be smart enough to know that, when you are in an organization that is governed by NEC, what NEC know about, that you register on a NEC and you elected senator and you elected representative on that ticket and you said that ticket having a problem. According to you, not CDC say you. You say you say the ticket has a problem. If the ticket has a problem, why did you use that ticket to elect senators and representatives? So you tricked the election system. You tricked the election system. That is a fraud. That is a fraud. It's a complete fraud. So next our reason whatever equal well, they have all reason to make sure they delay the case, whatever it will delay to now to whatever most cases have been delayed in court, even in the United States, the cases have been
All participants are on hold.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that.
okay. So
Yeah. Mhm.
especially election cases, I think people don't take in this. I think Liberian people just because President get a president, they don't take it serious. This is an election case.
Mhm.
It's an election.
All participants are off hold.
It's a crime. It's not just a joke thing here. So when these people started this thing from day one, I knew that was what we were going to end at.
Thank you.
I knew. They said it's gonna come in figure the document. So now, next they not. I mean, nobody said that to them. That they didn't want to bring their own thing. Oh yeah, somebody figure the document. Okay,
Thank you.
next we're keeping fire on this.
Thank
But
you,
it was
Chris.
just as having that confusion and more than stuff. Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
you figure the document. You do the one a day. You do the one at that.
So
But
you,
when they
Chris,
went to
Chris,
they took the case
I
to the
want to
court.
hear
That's
me.
okay. They don't want to see what the document think. So what is it? I think this present government. The present government had nothing to do with it. What it is the delay tactic, the playing. That's the
Chris,
court procedure. Yeah.
fine. Pay attention. So I agree with you that these people got themselves in this mess. That does not take away the fact that it plays in CDC's favor, and the CDC is doing whatever she can to accrue the political dividend out of it. Now you disagree with whether or not there is a delay tactics being played. So why 17 witnesses? And if you look at all the cases that we heard about, death of auditors and other cases, right? What interest has the government shown in any of these serious allegations of people being killed mysteriously? Has the government entered in any of these cases, brought suspect to court, to look at the seriousness of the case? No. The one they are interested in is a political case, and you know that. So to say that no, CDC is not doing anything, you know, I disagree with you on that, but I agree with you that yes, the CPP folks should be blamed for what they got themselves in, and I don't fault the CDC for doing what it's doing. that I believe very strongly that is doing for it to get the political dividend. Thank you. I will have to take another call. Let's go to John Manglo. Mr. John Manglo, let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, how you doing, Ansony?
I'm fine.
Listen, I listen to your show, and as if our country is not disgraced enough with everything else that's going on, these people intend to disgrace us even more with this frivolous case. Listen, this is a misdemeanor case. If there was any proof at all for this case, it should have been given in the first 2-3 weeks, maximum 1 month. And any serious judge, if this was not a political case, would have thrown this case off if after a month, the prosecutor was not able to give any genuine proof of what he claims happened. Besides, they should have given evidences before they even got a writ for Mr. Cummings. No, none of those happened. They keep on playing around with the case. Now, putting 17 witnesses on the stand to show something that happened and should be in black and white. If the thing was altered, the one the lawyers had compared to the one that is at NEC, compare them both. Why should it bring 100 witnesses? Why should it take 4 months? If the thing was altered, it was altered. It's not something that's in the cloud. It's something that's written in black and white. The lawyers had a copy from which they made the alteration. The first copy they made is at NEC, and they have it. Take the copies and compare them. It's as simple as that. But this government, for those who want to think that the government they have hand in there, let me make it clear, since we want to act like ostriches and don't know what's going on. Whether or not you works for the government, he's been working for the government from the beginning. He saw Mr. Barker as the weakest link that he could use and manipulate.
So, John,
because he shot up money for his party. So he pulled on that end,
Mr. Manglo,
and start working. Yes.
What I want to know from you, sir, you said Brendan Ayure has been working from this government. When did you get to know? And another thing that I think you knew all along, hold on, Mr. Manglo, that you knew all along, when I say you, I'm talking about the ANC, your side, right? You knew all along Brendan Ayure was this character you knew him to be. And you went into business with him, and later on, you got to know you were working where we are, and you have been doing business with him all along. Do you share some blame here for this mess that you got yourself or that you're in right now?
Well, we can share some blame. What would you call it? Intellectually, we can share blame. But let me tell you something.
So tell me the blame that you share. No, tell me the intellectual blame. Anthony. Yeah, tell me the intellectual blame that you. Okay, go ahead, sir.
That's what I'm coming to explain to you.
Go ahead, sir.
You need to understand the formation of the CPP. Brendan Ayure was not part of the formation. It was Joseph Walker that brought Brendan Ayure in. Now, with the formation of the CPP that everybody has equal power, ANC has no right.
Could you not have opposed that?
To expel what?
Could you not have opposed that? And if you did not see, could you not have just leave and put your own coalition together?
Equal rights. You all have equal rights. Joseph Walker brought in Brendan Ayure to join.
All right.
Nobody opposed it. That's his person. He brought in the person who he feels can help him or the CPP.
Yeah, Mr. Manglo, you make your point on Brendan Ayure there. Mr. Manglo.
We can't accept Brendan Ayure.
Yeah, Mr. Ayure.
You got to understand the formation of this
Yes,
thing.
Mr. Manglo, you made your point.
Equal power, yeah.
Please listen to me. You made your point on Brendan Ayure that Mr. Walker brought him in, and now you have the mess on your hands. What I also want to find out from you now is your side is using the CPP clause to to your advantage, so that Mr. Walker cannot fee a candidate. I know for a fact that you have that plan, and you tested that with the Unity Party candidate. It seems to be working. You think that is a good strategy that you can use? So it's like you are doing to them now what they have started doing to you some time ago. How are you different here?
Well, you Liberian people got to understand the law is just the law.
Okay.
We're not applying anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's ANC's position has been from the beginning that we will go by what we wrote and signed. We will go by it.
And you think by them going to court, you think that Benin now you were going to court too is not the law? Do you think Benin now you were going to court is not the law?
If you are going to the court, listen now, if you are going to the court for something that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ansony, Sieh, if I see you on Focus on America,
Liberia,
and I don't like the way you do things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I call the American government and say, that man raped my daughter. Will I be right to carry the court?
Well, it's a choice you have to make.
Yeah. Because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I'm trying to smear you so you can't be on the show.
All right.
That's exactly what happened with this CPP thing.
Thank you, Mr. Mauro.
You knows that it didn't happen.
Thank you, Mr. Mauro. I have a lot of callers. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mauro. I have a lot of callers, sir.
All right.
Thank you. Before I can take my next caller, I want to make a correction here. Earlier, I said that there were other political parties in the 1985 election that were banned, and I did not provide more context. And I saw Hamilton Sieh saying no, other parties are contested. So yes, I'd agree with that. The Unity Party, the United People's Party and the Liberian People's Party were banned. Parties that were allowed include LUP, L-U-P of Gabriel Kohler, and the Unity Party of Edward Kesseley, and the Liberian Action Party, of course, of Jackson Doe. I just want to make that correction. And Hamilton, thank you for bringing that out, and I appreciate that. And yet, that was the election of 1985. Again, the parties that were banned were the United People's Party and the Liberian People's Party. Other parties contested, that's LUP, the UP, and the Liberian Action Party. I just wanted to make that correction. Let me go to my next caller here. That is Aliu Kamara, an ardent, unbending, unwavering supporter of the man of wisdom, he calls him. How you doing? Sing your hallelujah.
Thank you so much. I hope you're doing all right today, my brother Ansony. Can you hear me okay?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, and I'm doing okay. I have no fish to fry in your politics. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. You're a Liberian like everybody else.
I'm talking about your party politics. Go ahead.
Okay, but first of all, let me just say, I remember back in 2014, I went to Liberia to visit with my family, and I developed interest in becoming a representative for one of my districts, pretty much because I grew up in so many districts. So I was in Peaceville community with the Guma Church community, and I said I wanted to become a representative. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Go
I
ahead.
in the background. Okay, so my biological aunt, my mother's youngest sister from 1 mile, 1 part, she looked at me, she said, nephew, I said, yes. She said, Liberia now is not about how much money you got in your pocket. She said, what have you done in this country since you left, even though you grew up here? What have you done? I said, but I was here all the time. All my friends there, I was going here, go high school, everything. The woman said, Valley is beyond that. You have to show people what you have been doing while you are out. And this is what's affecting Arizona coming today. Now, most of these neophytes that are trying to give him idea as to what to do. See, the bad thing is when you are not well versed with certain things, the best thing to do is to incorporate people around you who have more experience. Unfortunately, the most experienced people have been in the arena for a very long time. Now, these are the very people that the comic camp condemn, insult, denigrate, bash them in any way they want. So at the end of the day, they have to find girls like Maria Yakula, them to become political advisors, people who themselves are still innocent.
Mr. Kamara.
Yes.
Mr. Kamara,
yes.
We are talking about you do me.
Let me learn. I'm coming.
No. Hold on. You dancing around the cake. I don't want you to dance around the cake. Put the spoon on the cake, my friend. We are talking about you do me, I do you politics. Now, JMB side, hold on. JMB side, Team JMB, Drew Bennett and you sue Cummings. Cummings is getting prosecuted in a court of law. That means something that is minimizing the political chances. Now, Cummings side, through Musa Belete, they also filed something at NEC intended to stop JMB from running. This is you do me, I do you politics. What is your take? Get to the cake.
Okay, since you want me to be narrow, I'll try to be as narrow as possible. Look, again, let me just say this. All of this is something that Mr. Alexander Cummings has caused upon himself. Mr. Alexander Cummings and his friends, his colleagues, they had these conversations prior to the court matter. These guys, in their wisdom, tried to work with Alexander Cummings to get some of these things resolved so that it wouldn't get in public year after the year.
Why he needed to do that, he did not do, for which you said he got himself into this mess.
Well, the issue of the alteration did not just start now. It started when Yombly was still chairperson of the CPP. You remember Yombly had a couple of press conferences. The reason why she had those press conferences was because Mr. Alexander Cummings and his co were not trying to cooperate with the rest of the team. In fact, even an investigation was done. That report indicated clearly that there were alterations done. Cummings and his people vehemently stood their ground and said it was cosmetic. It was just crossing the T and what you might call it the dot and all kinds of stuff.
And what he needed to do at that point to stop this court case against him that he did not do.
But I'm coming to it. If you let me come to it, I will drive into the because it made.
I'm working on time here. I have other people waiting. Go to the what he needed to do at that point when he was accused that you altered the document. What he needed to do to avert this court case that he did not do. Go to the meat.
Well, okay. Let's go to your meat. The thing is this, all right?
Yes.
He's one versus three. It was the All Liberia Party, the Liberty Party under Yombly at the time, and the Unity Party. The three told him that this is not something we see something here that is serious and it could cause problems, and this is not what we signed up for. Let us fix it. What he should have done as a man from the corporate world who did not have any ulterior motive, and he was pure and clean as a snow, he should have said, okay, well, since we're 4 into this, and 3 of you guys disagree with something, for purposes of good relationship, let us all get together and mend this thing. But he refused. He said to them, if anybody have any qualms with me, anybody who believes that I've done something wrong, go to court.
Your side said he needed to apologize and admit that I did that which you are accusing me of, and then it was going to be hallelujah. You think that would have happened?
The reason why they said that, again, there has been some paper test going on. The reason why that was said was because Alexander Cummings and his people immediately begin issuing press conferences, not only condemning the fact that his colleagues had disagreed with a certain clause in their framework document, but his Secretary General, among other things, went and began to latch, rudely and aggressively latch at responsible people.
Yeah, myself take zero exception to that press conference in the midst of a conflict for you to have come swinging, like a fire, being blown away by a wild wind, right? I take zero exception to that. But what I want you to come to, Aliu, is that if Cummings had apologized as demanded or requested by his friends, that would have been a man admitting that I have committed a criminal act. Would they not have used that against him in the campaign? And you think that would have been a good calculation when he is claiming innocent of any such doing?
Let me just say this again. I don't want to capitalize on the unrealistic portion of your argument here.
I'm asking questions. I'm not making argument, man.
Yeah.
You use too much in the party politics and sad thing until you put me in that box.
No, when I say unrealistic, I'm saying unrealistic on the part of those who expected that Comey would have come up openly and apologized in such a manner or demanding to apologize.
Right.
That was unrealistic. Okay, but I'm telling you, there's something that drew them to that point, and Comey was responsible when they called private meetings and said, "Look, bro, this is something in here. We don't know whether you put it there or whether or not you put it there, but this is something that we do not adhere to."
All right.
It was simple in the meeting to say, "Oh, you know what, guys? I don't want it. I think it's good.
All right.
Since they don't want it,
Aliu.
let us take it." But let me just.
No, I want you to comment on this before you leave. Tubasa is waiting. I don't want to keep him, waiting that long. The other part is, I know for a fact the Cummings side now wants to use this clause in the CPP to possibly stop Bwaka from contesting. They've tried it with the Unity Party candidate. Is working right now. And I'm sure they are thinking about doing it because Musa Belete on the Cummings side said they're going to exhaust all other means, even if it means it goes to the Supreme Court. That is their plan. Don't you think that can hold Mr. Bwaka?
Again, this is what I said. Comey is looking for a fight. Comey continues to ask for a fight, and he's going to continue to get it. Let me just say this. The other time there was a show on here about the same thing, and I called him and told the ANC people, the best thing you can do, this NEC matter, I think you should just let it go. Let us just go ahead. Everybody go by their business instead of fighting to hold someone back. I told them, I said, right now, Joseph Bwaka and other people are avoiding the case between the All-Liberian Party and the ANC. But
Bwaka threw a stone and he's hiding his hand and he said he's avoiding it?
No, I'm coming. But if you guys pursue this to the point where Bwaka feels offended, then it becomes beyond, when you throw the stone and how you hand, that's politics. But when it gets to the place where you get personal, then that's a different thing. Now, where it's at now, it has become personal.
What is the way forward, Aliu? Before I let you go, what is the way forward?
Too bad. Now, where we at, where we're at now, the only way forward now is the Supreme Court. First and foremost, the weight will be lifted upon ANC if Joseph Bwaka or the Unity Party wins the national election thing at the Supreme Court. If that happens, some of the weight will be lifted upon Mr. Alexander Cummings. But if anything should cause hindrance for the Unity Party, the battle continues until 2023.
Thank you, sir.
I want you to understand that.
Thank you, sir.
Let me just say this.
Please,
I want to say this
few seconds. Aliu, you're taking most of my time. Let's go. Few seconds.
You said something about the free word document, the negative copy. Under the Liberian law, first of all, you cannot testify on negative or copy. It has to be the original.
Okay.
The first time Mo Ali went there to testify, they did not have the original. The court ordered them to go and bring the original.
So where is the original? Where is the original?
The originals were next.
But listen now, the Unity Party have said from day one that which are next is even a photocopy. So how can they turn around and say that is original?
Let me give me 3 minutes. I give me 3 minutes. Let me end my 3 minutes here. If the law annex says anything filed, as far as framework document is concerned, must be the original copy.
All right.
Next, you have the original. Right?
Thank you.
That's the law. So we are saying that just bring the original copy. They couldn't bring it during Mo Ali time. They can't bring it during Joseph Bwaka time. So we're waiting to see what happens tomorrow. They must bring the original copy. That's all we're saying.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Aliu Kamara there, a supporter of JMB. He's so fond of this man. Let me bring in my fan and caller here. Mr. Tubasi, let's hear you, brother.
Yeah, thank you very much, brother Tony. You know, I'm a strong physician. Like, I'm a member of the CPP party.
Did you get
Well,
baptized under the sycamore tree?
Sometimes, sometimes I know they are here now. They're gonna get mad and they're gonna say, "Oh, so they have an opposing view on this particular topic, on this particular issue."
Right.
You know, some would say he's no longer a physician, he's a trader, and because we don't respect intellectualism, we don't respect opposing views.
Right.
And that's wrong within this party. This party must accept that we will not agree on every single thing. I'm saying that if the Solicitor General going to bring WhatsApp to testify on behalf of the state as well. How about him writing experts? Is he going to bring experts from outside of Liberia to come and look at these documents? Let me make it serious now. Let me make it serious. Don't show the document the bishop like that. Oh, this is what do you think? Let me make it serious. You know, let's not show it to more army. Let's bring experts. Then writing experts. Let's say you want to. I said, hello, I'm calling
But Tobias said your government, the government you support is a pro government. They're trying to save money. Why bring experts when Liberians can do that? This is the court has been working.
But you know that law students and other people in the university are following this thing because these things will be looked at tomorrow. We're going to look back and say this thing, study case for many years ago. You go to court and tell the judge, say, Lord, let's look at this case that was litigated many years ago, and this was the ruling in this case. So this is serious stuff we're talking about here.
I agree.
So I'm calling on the Attorney General of Liberia to withdraw this case so that he can face his own neck or his own record and reputation. I'm saying like, look.
Are you afraid of something, Tubasi? Are you afraid of something here?
I'm saying something that, look, we're always out going to court, President. We are going to still win this election. And it's from the way I'm reading things. I could be wrong. But I'm saying that, look, we should start going after our political rivals. We should start going after people who have no business of. It's just, we got a lot of things going on in the country. Murder.
But Tubasi, I don't know what your fear, right? What's your fear? The CDC has tested the water 2 times. Hold on, Tubasi. The CDC tested Cabinet Janan, they butchered him out. Nothing came out of it. The country stayed peaceful. Recently, they did it with what you call Brandon Samokai. He did not get his seat. The Blofa people brought the country devil outside. That's the best they could do. Liberia is staying in peace. So they have like, well, if we stop Cummings, legally, even if we the Brim Bwaka will stop him, Liberia will stay peaceful. After all, we're using the law. We're not using guns. So why are you afraid of? That's what they're thinking, in my opinion.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid, but I'm just looking at
precedents.
We said that this president has not gone after his political rivals.
Right.
This president is a peaceful president. He has not gone after journalists. We talk about freedom of speech. We talk about the American ambassador coming and saying, look, I see you have freedom of speech when it comes in terms of journalism. Nobody going to jail, nobody being arrested, nobody. And I'm saying that, look, Mr. President, leave, Mr. President. I'm telling the government and the Attorney General, Friend Musa D. I'm saying that y'all stop this Solicitor General. Y'all stop letting leave Comey alone. Let's go to the election. I know that President will win this election free and fair. And I may be wrong.
And Tubasi, have you placed a call to your president, to any of the leaders in the party? And what have they told you? And what have they told you?
And some of my people get angry when I read, but this is my opposing, this is my view, this is how I see things, and I'm saying we are proceeding wrongly. You want to drag Joseph Boyka in the courtroom. Joseph Boyka becomes your witness as a state. What does that say in the Irish man's mind? when they say, oh, so Joseph Boyka and the government in a cahoot. Somebody playing games. Who is beyond this thing? Oh, Benina UA is working for the government. What will you say as a government? Are you going to deny these things?
Is there any danger, Tubasi? Is there any danger in this potential denial of these two candidates in our election politics? Is there a danger in it that you see?
There'll be all kind of political ramifications if you're not careful.
For example, what would be some of the ramifications?
Oh, sometimes voters can have a sympathy.
Okay.
Voters can say, oh, the way you're going after Tony, oh, my law for Tony now, I've developed law for Tony. I think I'm going to vote for Tony. Voters can think that any time. Election, that's 2026. I mean,
that is possible.
The man alone, instead of creating problems to where there's no problem. Let PDC stay out of this thing. It's none of their business. Let the Ansony General stop the Solicitor General now. Let's leave this to business. Let Tony be a free man. Let's go to the election. Let nobody be safe out of the case. Let's leave these people alone.
Thank you.
Let's just go. Mr. President, if you are hearing me, you will win the election free and fair.
Thank you.
Will win it. Leave Tony alone and leave the CPP alone. Let it deal with their business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tubasi there. Christopher Roti Tubasi there. He is a sedition and he's saying, leave these people alone. Let them carry their trouble in my Liberian way, because you can still win the election. Because if you continue on this case, if this case continues in court, the ordinary man would think that, oh, the government is working with Bwaka and others to stop Cummings, and the voters might change their mind and favor Cummings, and the CDC can pay a price. That's how he sees it. He's also saying, hey, we're talking about peace. You say you have no political prisoner, but now you are prosecuting your political rivals in a court of law. Then, this might have ramification that might be unrest in the country. And that is how Andrew Tubasi, Christopher Roti Tubasi, a sedition, sees it. Let me bring in my final caller here, the man Benjamin Jonah. I know he had declared support for Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings. My man, I hold you now. I wear putting your cartoon and you calling here to talk politics. How you doing, brother? My Minnesota brother.
No, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm going to respond to what my brother and friend, Mr. Aliu said. In the first place, we should not be listening to Aliu. Aliu is a good friend. But the fact that Aliu gave us PDC, I think it's about time that people like Aliu sit back and watch this second round of people's opinions, because their opinions are by this time to be a little questionable. Because he once gave us Georgia, today he's telling us Bwaka is good. I don't know tomorrow we will tell it about. But he said something. He said the Liberian people, it is not about money, but what the president has done in the country. So if we use that yardstick as a means of electing people, so let's look at what Bwaka did and what Georgia did and what Cummings did in Liberia. We know Cummings is making strides. We know Georgia did some small things in our country. But the only thing we can remember Mr. Bwaka for is 12 years where we ran the country into a complete mess. So if we use his yardstick, then that means that Mr. Bwaka is not supposed to be elected by the Liberian people.
And you think the 12 years he was serving Liberia as vice president is nothing? And what Cummings has done, because he has more money and have made contribution here and there, is something. So so for you, contribution now is about money, right? Contribution is about money. It's not about service. Is that how you see it?
No. And when you listen to Ali say, the Liberian now, it is not about money. And I'm trying to agree with Ali. So since we're not talking about money, we want to see the things that Mr. Bwaka did in his 12 years. That's right. Who is more better to tell us about Mr. Bwaka than Mr. Bwaka himself? Mr. Walker told us they squandered the opportunity that they had.
But Ben,
when you have yeah.
Ben, let me say this. Mr. Cummings of recent said he cannot, exempt himself from the problems of the CPP. In other words, he contributed to this chaos. So, no, hold on. Wait for my question now. Wait for my question. Do you have any idea the decisions, the disagreements, the activities of Mr. Cummings that contributed to this, nightmare of the CPP that brought them to where they are? Because he did not say. Do you have any idea what he meant? Because he was not honest enough to have said those things.
Well, look, I have my own thoughts about what I think.
Okay.
And I mean, hindsight 2020. Mm-hmm. There are certain things that I wish Mr. Cummings could have done.
Okay.
So that we will not be to where we are now.
Right.
But again, those are my own opinions, and they are not Mr. Cummings' opinions. So Mr. Cummings might be having other things in mind.
I mean, I would love for Mr. Cummings to come and to come for an interview here, so I can ask him that question. Why he will not tell us that?
Yeah, because,
and Mr. Cummings also did not tell us what was discussed in a meeting that was held in Ghana. He will not even tell us who called for the meeting, whether he initiated, whether Bwaka initiated, whether he made any offer, and whether or not that was rejected, and what that offer was.
No,
for me, I'm critical. I'm asking questions. Do you know anything?
Ansony,
Yes.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know certain things. I know something because Mr. Cummings answered some of those questions. He said it was the both team that reached out, but who met who was not established. In this kind of a conversation, there is no way you would come up with who made the first move, because these are tight-lipped conversations that two people are trying to have.
Apparently, Mr. Bwaka made the move, and he didn't want to give Mr. Bwaka the credit, so he will not be seen as the guy who has not been making effort. That is why he was not prepared to say it. Because if he had initiated that meeting, why would he not say it to project that he is, about resolving the issue?
No, but Ansony, if you have watched Mr. Cummings shut current in politics in Liberia, Mr. Cummings does not run away. He does not run away from mistakes that he had made. He always acknowledges any mistake that he ever made. He does not work from it.
Okay.
And that is the hallmark of a good leader. He didn't say, look, he's the one who was in court. He could have said, look, I'm in court because of these people. But he's also acknowledging the fact that, you know what, some of what has happened, I also contributed to it. That is the hallmark of a good leader.
Okay, Jonah, final thing here. I see Mr. Cummings' fingerprint on this complaint file at NEG that saw Unity Party, or that led to Unity Party not having a candidate in the local by-election. I am also suspecting Mr. Cummings' fingerprint going to be on similar, efforts to stop Mr. Bwaka on grounds that there is a CPP clause that forbids one from feeding a candidate if they leave the CPP. Don't you think Mr. Cummings is looking for further trouble here?
And let me explain this in the best way possible, and I wish that the audience will get it.
Please.
The reason why Mr. Cummings has a PFC a part of what is going on in Lopa, because what is going on in what was about to go on in Lopa is also tied to Mr. Cummings' case. So if Mr. Cummings had left that portion in Lopa to go ahead without any counter reaction, it would have been that Mr. Cummings would have been indicting himself more while he was in court. Because what he would be saying in essence is that, yes, these people left and there was nothing wrong with what had happened. So for Mr. Cummings to actually prove his innocence, he also has all the right to also go after the issue in Lopa, so that it does not look like he was turning a blind eye to that.
All right.
And
Thank
I
you.
can tell you, I can tell you this for a fact, Mr. Cummings will be vindicated. I know CDC is doing all they can. The best thing they can do with this case is, and I know what they are doing, they will just drag it. But guess what? The other party thinks that they will only delay Mr. Cummings, but this is going to delay the entire opposition.
Thank you.
Until they can realize it and go back to the CPP and say, guys, we are here. Let's withdraw this clause and all of us go separately until they can do that.
And you think who is benefiting in all of this, Jonah?
Oh no, it is, to be honest, it is the CDC government that is benefiting.
All right. Thank you, thank you, Jonah. I will leave it there, folks. I will leave it there. Time is fast spent, and thank you for participating. Thank you for participating again. Thank you, and thanks so very much for participating. But you want to wait for my usual closing as I take the short break and come right back for my closing. Again, this is Focus on Liberia. We are discussing You Do Me, I Do You politics, the case of the CPP, and this is an open discussion for all of you to participate. And I decided to dwell on calls, and I've received some calls, but I have to take a break immediately and give you my closing. This is a case, right? I will give my closing argument, but it's a political argument. So, folks, this is how I will close it for today. You do me, I do you politics. The case of the CPP. They are doing the others. The other is doing them. They think by doing each other, they're going to accrue a political dividend. Little do they know that they are only doing the guy who is their target the greatest favor in his political life. And that guy is George Manawia. The Unity Party hides his hand and uses Benny Nayure to get Cummings hooked up in a court case in court with the political understanding that it would diminish his standing, it would take away his record of clean hands, he would be seen as a political boogeyman, and it will reinforce the narrative that he does not know the political terrain, and that it is an opportunity for them to punish him politically for his failure to succumb to the Almighty Unity Party and the Almighty political veteran Joseph Yomambwaka. Why will a Cummings refuse vehemently, in their opinion, to accept and even go crying on his need to be Joseph Yomambwaka's VP? In their calculation, that was the greatest generosity that they had on the table for Cummings to have taken. And only if have Cummings done that, he would have cemented his way to the political promised land follow down the road. They got angry that Cummings did not, have the political eyes to have seen this greatest gift to him. In their opinion, the guy that has no name recognition, who is the stranger in Liberian politics, he does not have the numbers. He is not connected to the Liberian people. He is seen as an outsider. And he needed to take baby steps. He's just coming into the business of politics. Walker has been around. He served as vice president. They argue he pays his due, and he did it so well. So it is his time. He's next in line. He served as vice president. It is about time now he becomes president. They continue to argue. Cummings, after all, is a GM brother to Walker. How can you be this frisky that you want to, head the ticket over your B brother with the experience who been around in government? How could Cummings now take this gift they've given him to be VP? How could he not even come crawling for it? And that Joseph Walker, he's known in Liberia. He comes from the Unity Party, a party that has a record of winning in the presidential election 2 times. And Cummings has no record of winning anything in Liberia. Unity Party has. Why would Cummings not do that? And would they want to challenge the political godfather in a so-called primary? So the Unity Party has its hand, and takes Cummings to court using Benina Ure, who supports Mr. Walker. And Yombly Kanga Lawrence, who also supports Walker, when she got that opportunity to look into the investigation, wasted no time and found Cummings guilty of criminal wrongdoing and alteration of the framework document. So they were on their game to teach this guy a lesson. But then Cummings and his side came to realize that they too needed to fight back. And that this fight was not, like we say in Liberia, a joke in snake's mouth. And so they decided to prospect their political game plan using the CPP framework clause, Article 8.52, and that you can't fee a candidate when you pull out of the CPP. And they tried it with the Unity Party's candidate for the upcoming by-election in Lofa County. And that ruling was in their favor at the National Election Commission. As we speak, the Unity Party does not have a ticket. You do me, I do you politics. Joseph Walker spends the right. If these guys can succeed in stopping a Unity Party candidate in a by-election, and if there is anyone they want to see defeated, and there is anyone they are up against who is in their way, I am the one, Honorable Dr. Joseph VP Walker. So I know these guys are coming after me. And so Walker will flex his muscle. No Unity Party candidate, no by-election in Lofa. For he knows he is the target here and not necessarily the Unity Party's candidate. You do me, I do you politics. Where does it go? Who benefits from all this? We are benefits. Walker is being diminished. Cummings is being diminished to the lowest 10. You do me, I do you politics. Folks, now there's a guy called Tiawan Gonglo is in the mix. These two forerunners in the opposition party, in the opposition community, getting crushed by each other. And the government puts the cream on the cake that's been baked people don't have eyes on Tier 1. Where Tier 1 play this to his advantage. Where Tier 1 do that. Where Tier 1 play Jackson Doe of the Liberian Action Party as it happened in the 1985 election when the United People's Party and the Liberian People's Party were banned by the Samuel Doe administration. And that there were the other parties that were more or less seen as somehow weaker parties. And then the opposition came and decided to support the Liberian Action Party. Even though we have Loop of Gabriel Kola, we also have the Unity Party of Edward Kessley. But they lap Liberian Action Party of Jackson Doe became the favorite at the time. And most Liberians gave their political blessing to Jackson Doe of the Liberian Action Party. Can Tier 1 walk this fine line? Can Tier 1 see this opening and go for it? While these guys are fighting to get out of the mall, can he be rushing, taking giant steps to pull himself forth? Because at the end of the day, I'm not sure the Liberian people are happy with the current administration. They are getting crushed by poverty. They are getting crushed by prices. They are getting terrified by mysterious deaths. They've been overwhelmed with crimes in the country. And the harsh economic realities in the country are so biting for their life. The living standard in the country has reduced to the lowest. They are in their worst shape ever in their lifetime, at least since the World Wars, World War I, II, and III. So can Tier 1 come and get this done? That is his business to do it. Or will come and resurrect, or will Bwaka find a way to snatch this thing, since he has some numbers to advantage, since he has a name to his advantage? Or is he just crippled by the lack of money, by the lack of a team? Or is he going to be hampered by his physical agility? I don't know. Whatever any of these men do with their political party and team, and what the Liberian people decide at the end of the day, will tell us who becomes president. That is my closing. And folks, I want to say thank you for always watching Focus on Liberia, for balance, and thorough reporting here and better representation of our nation, Liberia. My name is Ansony Sieh. My name is Muran Sieh. My name is Blood Sieh. My name is Nambe Sieh. And I brought you another edition of the Hour of Politics here at Focus on Liberia. Until I see you again, enjoy the song that says, "We are all Liberians. Whoever wins, we are all Liberians. Whoever loses, we are all Liberians. Whoever cries their own cry, we are all Liberians, and our Liberia will remain." Thank you for watching, and have a very good day. Bye now.
We are Liberians.